Hey, let's talk about games. Hello again, Battle Brothers and Sisters. Today we're going to be running through the Tactical Specialist, talking about all the things that makes him tactical, starting off with the skills and abilities, going through the weapons, and then talking about some general gameplay advice that you might find useful when playing as this guy, because I truly believe he is perhaps the cornerstone, the factor that decides whether you succeed or fail in a lot of harder missions. So to kick things off, this guy starts with the ability to revive a fallen ally. Technically you're supposed to be calling in reinforcements, but really it's a resurrect type character. When you get to level 2, you get a decrease to the cooldown of this. It goes down to a pretty low time, and well, it is really the factor that defines this character. It is the thing that gets you your thank yous. It is the thing at the end of the map where you know you did a job well done because you brought several people back from the dead. Now, moving on to the next ability you will unlock, this is the Protector ability, where you can give an ally a 10-second damage immunity. Now, it's not immune to all damage. Some single hit kill abilities from the larger enemies will still kill you in one hit, but when you've got a guy that's running into melee being bait or whatever, this ability is an absolute gem. Moving on from here, the last ability you'll get access to is the ability to summon a small drone to fight by your side for a small period of time. It's not amazing, but it's fun to use. You get a little buck, you get to call him a name, and it's a bit of fun. Now, moving on through the weapons, this guy has quite a few to pick from. Obviously, we have the Stormbolter, we've talked about this before, jack of all trades, good range. Then we have the Redemption Bolter, aka the handheld shotgun with 20 rounds in the magazine, still more than capable and can knock back enemies at a close range. Then we have the Heavy Flamer, our first time talking about this weapon. This is a gem. You can fire it through allies, it does not damage allies even with friendly fire turned on. It does mean your entire squad can't see crap. It's amazing though, it looks gorgeous, and it does have a fairly good range if you aim up high in the sky. Guys, you've probably had some practice at this during your life. If you aim at about a 45-degree angle, that is about optimum to get maximum streaming range. So I'd recommend it, give it a go. Just keep in mind though that it takes a while for the dot damage to actually kill something, so sometimes you will find that an enemy still walks up to you and whacks you one. So sometimes you may need to kite a little bit in as well as using this, and also feel free to spray it everywhere because it lasts on the ground for a fair while. Now, moving on from here, we have the Spear of Calaballs. Now, this Calabal weapon is pretty good. It does suffer from an ammo issue though. It's a rapid fire plasma cannon essentially. It feels a bit more like a plasma rifle, but it does rely on a sort of a gradual recharge instead of an instant reload mechanic, and it doesn't seem to reload as fast as you need it to in order to kill stuff. So you will often find yourself running low on ammo with this and simply having to just sit around for a while. Because of this, I'd really suggest with this weapon, whenever an enemy comes into melee range, instead of tapping the fire trigger sort of 4 times, just whack them instead with your power fist. Save that ammo, and trust me, you will be grateful. The weapon's pretty good anti-armor, so very, very good at taking out the occasional lictor and larger enemy. Once you learn how many shots you need per difficulty to kill something, very, very handy. Now, moving on from here, we have the Lightning Claws. Again, I'm always going to say the same thing for this weapon. If you want to run up to stuff and whack it, fair enough. On the higher difficulties, is it viable? Yes, but not really, so let's just move on. Stormbolter Mark II, again, it's the Uzi, higher rate of fire, lower damage than the Stormbolter, and crazy kickback, so if you like that type of thing, go for it. Now let's talk about the gameplay tips for this character, because there are some. Don't die first. Remember, your Resurrect is one of the most important abilities in your squad. It's fine for a heavy weapon guy to die, because, well, his bread and butter's really just in his gun. It's also fine for an assault to die, for a melee character to die, because, well, he can just come back and whack stuff. If you die first, you lose the ability to resurrect, so that sucks. Keep that in mind and try not to position yourself on the front line. Now, tip number 2, for this character, because you can resurrect, always keep an eye and have an exit strategy. Always remember where the last door is that you can run through and lock behind you, and always just be on your toes and ready to run away. Trust me, it might make you sound like a bit of a coward, but being able to do this will be the difference between your group wiping and you running away and resurrecting a teammate to fight and hold off your ground until everyone else spawns. Just trust me with this one, it's going to be a team saver. Now number 3 is your protector ability and giving people a little bit of notice when it's up and when you're going to use it and who you're going to use it on. Reason being is you only have 10 seconds to use this. It's very, very powerful, but what you'll find is most people take about 4 or 5 seconds to realise they're invulnerable, even though they get a big bubble animation, and then by the time they've gone to whack something, it's run out and they're dead. Now this is of course assuming you have team comms, but you can say I'm using bubble on XYZ, and then your ally knows what's happening and he can go ham. It's really, really useful, this ability. Again, it won't save you against everything, but most small arm fire and most basic NID attacks you will be immune to damage from. So keep that in mind. The last tip for this guy is remember, although your weapons are more than capable, you won't ever get as many kills as a heavy gunner. So don't feel bad about it when you get to the end of the mission. Your kill rate will always be, well, slightly above the apothecary, but not much higher. The assaults and the heavy gunners are always going to trump you for damage. So my last tip is just don't get upset and hate this character. Just remember that you are often the reason that the mission was a success. Keep that in mind. Remember, you're the hero. Guys, have yourself a great week. I'll see you tomorrow with another video. Remember, click that little subscribe button down there and that bell. That way, when I release the next video, you're not going to miss anything.